If you see the headline on the front page of the Standard, you may think we are in June 2024. Tax rebellion, that's main headline there. Tax bill rebellion, the revenue battle. So the battle over the Finance Bill 2026 has escalated into a fierce political showdown after MPs mounted a rare revolt against key national treasury proposals, deleting, diluting, and rewriting measures expected to raise an additional 120 billion shillings. While the government insists there are no new punitive taxes, critics accuse it of barring higher costs in technical tax provisions and pushing the bill through Parliament without adequate scrutiny. The pushback reflects growing anxiety within political circles over the risk of reigniting public anger reminiscent of the 2024 Gen Z protests. So pages 4 and 5 of this paper talk about this. Remember yesterday I told you that one MP from the minority side was still talking about taxation on mitumba, which was vehemently opposed by members from the majority side, especially the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah, saying that in this bill there's no, initially they had introduced 5% tax on entry of mitumba into the country. So fine, that was deleted. But they replaced that with VAT on mitumba at the point of entry. Whether or not it's in the latest bill presented before Parliament that's actually being debated, we're not sure. So that MP was forced to withdraw because he was told, okay, fine, show us within the bill where there's taxation for mitumba. Now what they've decided, because they're saying this may have been hidden, that VAT probably, or whatever tax may have been hidden in the volumes of papers in that document. Now they're saying they're going to introduce an amendment which expressly says that there will be no tax on mitumba.
Kama haiko tutaweka.
Kama mnasema hamujaweka tax, sawa. So to include a clause saying there will be no tax on mitumba. Mwekatae sasa. Ndio tujue kumbe mnajaribu kuficha. So kama hakuna tax on mitumba, why would you oppose a clause saying there's no tax on mitumba?
But I think the Treasury CS has been on record akisema haiko, but it's something that he'd love to propose.
That's the 5%.
Yes, the 5% taxation on imports. Nikiingia pale kwa port, 5%.
Hiyo ilitolewa. Initially it was there, then it was deleted. Then at some point there was an introduction of VAT on mitumba, which was initially not there. So which is which? Which tax are we talking about? Is it the VAT on mitumba? Is it the excise duty 5%? Remember VAT 16%, and that you can recover once you sell. But then again, which tax are we talking about in as far as mitumba is concerned? Is there any tax on mitumba within the finance bill? That is what we need to look for. MPs wenyewe wanasema I think mumeficha hapa. Anyway, that's a big story here. The other discussions around taxation on rental income is also being discussed. Now, amesema even that one, they will also propose an amendment to it. So we do expect a lot more back and forth, especially within the National Assembly on the newly proposed taxes within the finance bill. Kwingineko, so anasema Ruto fiscal plan faces acid tests as MPs poke holes in tax proposals. According to these MPs from the minority side, they're actually saying that this finance bill is worse than the one in 2024. I don't know kama they're being serious ama ni ile tu joto.
Inciting. What do you think? Because that is a lot of reporters, I hear them saying the contentious 2026 finance bill. Is it really contentious?
Well, it's contentious now that there's contention in Parliament. If MPs are saying, no, we are not going to agree to that, then that's a point of contention. Remember, 25th of June is only next week. So we are very close to, we are a bit, I think we are a week away from the anniversary, June 2024. June 25, 2024, the events of that day. The anniversary is being marked next week.
That's a forced contention though.
Well, sasa, kama members of parliament wameshindwa kusoma waseme ni nini iko na nini hakuna, what do they expect Kenyans to do? You know, and we always talk about this. Parliament, whether the minority or the majority, they need to provide clarity for their constituents who do not understand these things. Now when they don't talk about it, anyway. That's the front pages. Back page, ageless Lionel Messi, way above them all. Argentina wins 3-0 over Algeria. And all his goals were scored by Lionel Messi. Ako na miaka ngapi huyo? 38 years old. He's almost 40. 38 years old. And he has 16 World Cup goals. So he scored all 3 goals for Algeria. Algeria chunga sana. They might go on to win this World Cup. I don't fancy them much. I prefer France. But it looks like wakianza even a Lionel Messi, probably his very last World Cup. Compared to Portugal, ambayo iko na Cristiano Ronaldo, lakini walishindwa au walidraw. Anyway, that's the Standard today.
All right, tuangalie Daily Nation sasa. The main story here talks about storm over secret 180 billion shillings JKA deal. Row after cancellation of a contentious project by Indian billionaire Gautam Adani in the aftermath of the 2024 Gen Z protests. The government is courting fresh controversy following reports of the award of a new contract for the expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to a Chinese firm through a process that critics say is cloaked in secrecy. 2 sources within state agencies overseeing the procurement confirmed the contract was awarded this month and is awaiting expiry of a 14-day period within which dissatisfied bidders are allowed to challenge the process. The story is on page 4 and 5. And the people who've been quoted here, Stephen Mutoro says COFEC has established that the joint venture partner is owned by a man COFEC had already petitioned the court to bar from Kenya. Sheila Masinde from TISA also keys full information on the financing model, including any debt obligations Kenyans are being committed to. LSK President says address concerns around full accountability and public participation or we seek court intervention. And Okiya Mtata says the whole thing is being procured in contemptuous disregard of the Constitution. We are going to resist it.
Something funny and very curious. You remember that when the Adani deal was being talked about, part of the protests by Gen Zs around that time, they were also protesting the supposed deal to upgrade the airport.
Yeah.
Is it curious that this is coming almost around the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the finance bill, we have the airport deal, all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Aoni kama tunachezwa mahali.
Kuna kitu.
It's like
financial year karibu inaanza.
It's like Kenyans are being pushed towards collective rage on so many different things. Mpaka you lose focus. Okay, are you talking about the finance bill? Is it the airport? What exactly are you protesting about?
So it's rage bait.
Probably. I'm asking, could it be?
Could it be? Could it be rage bait?
Tupatia in small doses, tujue tuna focus na gani.
They're throwing everything at us. All right, other quick headlines here. Ruto tells G7 Africa will power future global growth. G7 Africa will power future global growth. President Ruto champions Africa's course during meeting with world leaders, saying the era of exploiting the continent for its critical minerals is gone. That story is on page 6. That summit is done? It's over?
The one at the coast?
G7.
Oh, G7. I think
France.
it's almost done, yes. Should be done now.
Finance bill is also mentioned here on the front page. MPs reject public push to lower pay. That's a different angle. That the National Assembly's Finance and National Planning Committee has ignored many petitions to amend tax laws to adjust pay-as-you-earn bans and increase personal relief to hand salaried workers more disposable income.
You see, they're actually using John Mbadi's words.
Yes.
That he had promised to ensure that those earning 30,000. Actually, he went and said eventually those earning 50,000 and below should not be paying payee. But he said, at least in this budget, those earning 30,000 and below will be given that relief. Then he rescinded that promise. But now, those from the minority in the National Assembly are insisting they will introduce that one. In the finance bill, they say that they will introduce a clause saying that anyone earning below 30,000 shillings will be free from paying payee. A very populist statement. Whether or not it will pass in parliament, I don't know. But hiyo ni uchokozi.
Compare to false hopes.
Hiyo ni uchokozi sasa.
Yeah.
But then again, they're using Mbadi's words.
All right, tuangalie back page. 2026 FIFA World Cup, June 11 to July 19 inaendelea. USA, Mexico and Canada. Goal machines, Messi, Haaland and Mbappe ensure perfect starts. On target, Argentine star shines in Algeria tie, equals all-time scoring record. Today, Group L, Ghana and Panama will be playing at 2 a.m. Uzbekistan versus Colombia will be playing at 4 a.m. They're playing currently. Czech Republic and South Africa will be playing at 7 p.m. South Africa. Again, people will be hate watching South Africa. What a time to be.
Are you supporting South Africa?
Are we?
You want to take their jobs?
Read the room.
It is their job to support their own country.
That's their business.
It's plus their jobs.
Yes.
We shall not take their jobs.
Also, Switzerland, Bosnia and Herzegovina will be playing at 10 p.m. today. Then tomorrow, there will be Canada and Qatar 1 a.m. and then Mexico and South Korea at 4 a.m. and then USA and Australia tomorrow. That's the Daily Nation.
All right. When I go back to the Star, fresh, independent, different, but the main headline is the same. Debate about the finance bill. MPs' tax battle sets stage for Gen Z memorial. So anniversary on June 25th, which is Thursday next week, exactly a week from today. Do we anticipate protests next week? That's the other question. As we mark the anniversary,
yeah.
Do we anticipate protests, or what kind of memorial will be there this year? I remember last year, 2025, there were some protests here and there. Should we anticipate something like that?
There's so much silence around that.
Yes,
so
probably it could be marked in a different way. We do not know. So this is the main story on the spread. MPs' big tax bill. They say Ruto's lieutenants fought off what they termed as falsehoods being peddled about the tax laws and the 2026-2027 budget. So spotlight on House as debate exposes lack of grasp on bill. Yes, these MPs, it would appear, yet they have been the ones interacting with these documents. Even when amendments are made without the public knowing, munakuja tu kuambiwa, in this document, this is a very last document, hakuna hiyo tax. But MPs, it would appear they don't know. So if they don't know, who are we? How will we get to know? Yeah. Kuna shida pale. 13th Parliament, muko down tu sana. ODM Chief Oburu draws first blood in Sifuna Senate power struggle. So embattled ODM SG. Edwin Sifuna has been removed from the Senate Energy Committee in a move that is likely to intensify speculation over widening divisions within ODM. Huyu ni ule party leader alikuwa anasema hata kualikwa. Lakini bado kuna power within ODM.
Yeah.
Wash then judiciary to blame as Kenya stuck in grey list. Kenya is likely to remain under enhanced scrutiny for weaknesses in combating money laundering and terrorist financing, with the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, updates its list later this week. Wash Kenya ni kitu ya kawaida. Ni kitu ya kawaida. Tuache kujifanya. We know, we see it every day, especially on some roads.
Unataka kuwa involved. Nataka wani involved.
Wash. Are you a criminal?
Involve me.
I shall
Money
steer
making
clear.
schemes.
I shall steer clear of that one.
Well, jokes.
Pale juu matter sports, of course, Kylian Mbappe rising to become top goal scorer in France. And that G7 nambo iliisha 17th. Has the president come back? 17th was the day before yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So Ruto's G7 diplomacy cements Kenya's place at table of global affairs. You can discuss or find out more details about what was discussed there. What did Ruto say? What did the other world leaders tell him? And what does Kenya and Africa come out of the G7 summit with? Page 6 of the Star. The World Cup risky tournament, they ask on the back page, lack of World Cup segregation, a risk, says football supporters Europe chief. Lack of World Cup segregation. Why would they want? So the head of fan group, Football Supporters Europe, says a lack of segregation at the World Cup is a risk and shows FIFA has lost control of their ticketing. Most group games so far have been played in front of fans of both countries, mingling. Oh, so he's talking about if two countries are playing together, playing against each other, their supporters should not be at the same place. Yes, they should be probably different ends. That makes sense. Can imagine if at all Iran and US come to play at some point. Wale hata walali huko US. That's a Star. Fresh, independent, different. Grab yourself a copy for only 60 bob.
Alright, tuangalie Taifa Leo. Kindiki na Gachagua kutegana. Uchaguzi mdogo wa eneo bunge la Olkalau, kaunti ya Laikipia, unaotarajiwa kuandaliwa Julai 16 mwaka huu, umeibuka kuwa mojawapo ya mashindano yanayofuatilia kwa karibu zaidi eneo la Mlima Kenya na kwingineko nchini. Sasa ingawa ni uchaguzi wa kujaza nafasi iliyoachwa wazi na kifo cha mbunge, sasa amechukua sura ya vita vya kisiasa kati ya naibu rais Kithure Kindiki na mtangulizi wake Rigathi Gachagua kuelekea uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka ujao. Mahasidi wa kisiasa mlimani kwenye vita vya ubabe wakiepuka kuongoza kampeni moja kwa moja Olkalau.
Month to the by-election.
Yeah.
On the 16th of July in Olkalau.
All right. Azikwa miaka 6 baadaye, familia ya mzika mpendwa wao baada ya miaka 6 kutokana na deni kubwa la bili na ada kufuatia kifo chake. 6 years. Polisi ange kuhusu usajili wa kigaidi. Kuna tetesi vijana wanasajiliwa kujiunga na makundi ya kigaidi kimataifa pwani. Masuala ya mambo ya nje, Tshisekedi guu moja 3-term quote and quote. Seneti DRC yapitisha mswada kumruhusu Tshisekedi kuhudumu kwa muhula wa 3. Tshisekedi ndio DRC. Is it that good? Watu wa DRC, ebu interact with us. Jamani,
DRC wasai wako World Cup.
DRC they speak Swahili as well.
Hey, the Swahili is Swahili butamu, Swahili butamu.
Ebu ambie watu ambie if their president is. Anyway, on the top strip, kundi la Senator Edwin Sifuna linavyopangua upinzani kuelekea mwaka ujao. Maarufu wa Linda Mwananchi umechochea wito wa kumtaka seneta wa Nairobi kwa sehemu ya tiketi ya urais wa upinzani mnamo mwaka ujao. Na uhamiaji wa shabikia Senegal. Hii ni baada ya mashabiki wa nchi hiyo kunyimwa visa kuingia USA. Taifa Leo.
You know, you mentioned something about a story about someone who's been buried 6 years later.
Yeah.
Do you know that there's actually a former African president who's yet to be buried 1 year later?
Why?
Yeah?
Why?
The former Zambian president, Edward Lungu, because they disagreed with his successor, and he said, I don't want that man next to me on my burial day. He should not come close to my casket on my burial day. Hakainde Hichilema.
And then?
There's so the family, when this president was taken ill, he was taken to South Africa. Eventually he died from there. So the family, in respect of their kin, they said, okay, fine, we'll bury him in South Africa. Zambia says no. He was a president here. He'll have to come back home.
Yeah.
So now they've been struggling back and forth. Mara, the body has disappeared.
The body has disappeared?
No, reports in the news say, okay, Zambian government says we are now in custody of the body. The family says no. Yeah. We are the ones who have the body. So the body still is in South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah. More than a year later, Edward Lungu, president of Zambia, is yet to be buried.
On today's episode of Did You Know?
Did you know? All right, let's take a look at the People Daily haraka haraka. Masaa naona inatuchenga. People Daily, feeding the monster, dark evolution of state-backed goons. We've talked about this, and this is part of our discussion today. The fact that a lot of these goons usually accompany police or are accompanied by police in their missions. Sasa wanaonekana hata na CCTV, the latest one, waliingia kanisani. Surely. Kwani walizaliwa na nani? You know, it's a former First Lady, I think Lucy Kibaki asked, who's your mother? Yeah, and you do some things, who's your mother? Who raised you? Yeah. So that's a story there on People Daily. Finally, Business Daily.
All right, Business Daily, investors eye 2 billion shillings gain on Family Bank listing. The lender will trade on the Nairobi Securities Exchange on Tuesday next week, and some owners are set for 24.1% paper gain. That story, MPs block fresh attempts to increase KRA's power. A lot is happening. They're voting close by close today in the finance bill. That's starting today. That's Business Daily.
All right. Tuvuke boda tuingie Uganda, wanazungumzia gani? Na that story about abduction of some lawyers still continues. So the Daily Monitor, that's where we start. Former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago narrating what he went through in the 48 hours that he was under military detention at an unknown location. This story is being given quite a lot of coverage, page 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Daily Monitor. So we have a picture of Lukwago there with his wife. Yeah. At the Chief Magistrate's Court yesterday, where he was charged with misprision of treason. With misprision of treason. And remanded, so he was still remanded. But initially, before he was charged, he was under the military. That's why Muhoozi Kairenuga alikuwa amesema atamwachilia sababu diaper zimeisha. So this is a big story in Uganda. We don't have the other paper. Let's take a look at the papers in Tanzania. We start off with The Citizen. Tanzania rules the wild, but elephants pay the price. Tanzania has cemented its position as Africa's leading wildlife powerhouse after emerging top in the population of lions and buffaloes. Kenya musiringe sana. When it comes to the population of lions and buffaloes, Tanzania rules. Even as the country grapples with a decline in elephant numbers driven largely by poaching and human pressure on protected areas. So matters wildlife conservation on the front page of The Citizen. Gazeti la Mwananchi, habari kuu pale, pacha watano, furaha mawazo. Hadithi kama hii utaipata kwenye kurasa za mbele za magazeti ya Kenya. Lakini hali iliyopitia familia iliyojaliwa na watoto hao kwa mpigo. Wataalamu waeleza wanavyoendelea, changamoto za matunzo zilizopo mbele yao. Watoto watano mara moja. But I guess it serves, it helps wale wapendi kubeba mimba mara kadhaa. Unabeba mara moja, unapata watoto watano, basi ushukuru Mungu na unaendelea. Hiyo ndio habari kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili la Mwananchi. Turejelea hapa nyumbani, tuangazie karakacha sasa.